Hello and welcome. I'm Vijay and we are here in Nagari in Andhra Pradesh, which is 85 kilometers from Chennai. We came here all the way from Chennai to watch Chief Minister C. Joseph Vijay's last film, Jana Nayagan, first day, first show. We just watched the film. We're just out of the theatres, and I'm joined by my colleagues to actually review the film there. Kirubakaran Purushothaman, who has closely tracked entertainment for TheFederal, he gets to write a lot of reviews for us as well. And also with me is my colleague Soumya. You must have seen her doing quick planners on the Federal social media platforms. Both of you, thank you. Let me begin with Kiruba first.
Vijay, you missed saying that we came all the way from Chennai at 6 a.m. for the show. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, we came all the way because to watch the first day, first show here in Andhra Pradesh, because the shows in Tamil Nadu starts at 9 o'clock. So we get to see it early because we want to have what they call as Talapati Darisanam early. So I think maybe, Kiruba, let me begin with you. What are your initial thoughts of the film?
Vijay did everything that he wanted to tell to his fans. That's what it is. As a movie, I don't think it does much, but as a fan service, yeah, a lot. And as a propaganda material, a lot more. That's my take.
Alright, Soumya, what do you think?
I think it's definitely a very cliche Vijay film, anything a fan would expect, so it would cater to fans, but then as a cinema, as a film, maybe not so much. So
No, I think it's important to get reviews from both of them because I'm a huge fan of Vijay. I just put it on record, but
Vijay, let me ask you something. Okay, you came all the way from we came all the way from Chennai, right? We woke up at 3 a.m. and drove all the way one and a half hours, 2 hours. We probably drove all the way to Andhra Pradesh and we have watched it. And do you think it is worth it?
No, absolutely. I think see, this is not about. I believe it's more about Vijay than the film, right? Because he's been a star who has done 70 plus films close to there, and I think he's become the chief minister from being from his Nalaya Tirpitu, and we all grew up watching his films, right? So I think it's about Vijay, and I think this is something for we do it as a token of love and affection for Vijay. I think that's what the fans. That's kind of a mood that we also get to gather here in Nagari as well, I believe.
adding on to what he's saying, it is also piling up on him as an actor, his end of a career as an actor, and he's going into politics. So the film also reflects heavily on politics and inclined towards what people want and what the makkal want, and it's reflecting to that. So,
but Swami, I'm going to ask just one yes or no question. Yes. Was it all worth it coming all the way from?
No, I do not recommend that.
But anyway, Kiruba, I think we should also talk a little bit about the film for our audience, right? I think you've been doing a lot of critical analysis of films in the past as well for TheFederal. I think how do you critically see this movie? What do you think? There's lots of politics that's involved, and remember, it wasn't an easy journey for Jana Nayagan to roll on the floors, right? We had seen it in the past as well. There are lots of hurdles for the film to come out. CBFC was delaying the certification and all that. You think in a way the CBFC certification is kind of it's justified because the film did have way too many controversial portions.
So absolutely. So the film is hitting out of during his political campaign. Vijay has explicitly put that BJP his ideological enemy and DMK is his political enemy, right? And the film reflects itself, right? It kind of has elements which reflects the Hindutva politics as well, which is subtly put, I would say. And there is also element of how there is a dig at generational politics, so all the things are covered here. Of course, when Vijay was not in power before the election, of course this film would have caused a lot of trouble for the people who were in power, right? And I don't know if that was the reason it was stalled. We can only just do a guesswork. But if it had released, of course it would have created impact. So I think the film not being released has helped a lot of people. But now the results are out. Now the film is kind of seen in retrospect rather than it is not doing anything after this, right? It is kind of a nostalgia. It has become a nostalgia rather than what it was intended to. So,
alright, I want to ask Soumya as well. Soumya, there are lots of portions. Mamita Baiju, for example, which is Vijay's foster daughter in a way, and lots of portions where Vijay went out on his way to, woo women. You think, and remember the film was shot, slated to be released before the elections. You think Vijay was trying to sort of, in a way, woo the women voters and all that,
Definitely, absolutely, because even in Mamata Baiju's role, she's seen as a very like a weak character throughout the film, and in the end, she's like empowered, she's strong, she's fighting back and all that. So yes, it is definitely to woo the women folk, because she, in one way, Vijay has empowered Mamata Baiju throughout the whole film. Like he's giving her reassurances, he's trying to strengthen her up, he's trying to push her. So in all that way, yes, definitely women empowerment has to be inculcated in the film, but then not as much as one would expect. It's in a very like easier, simpler tone.
All right, I think in talking about the villain role here, I think the Prakash Raj. Let's talk about him first, because it's he said iconic, the hero and the villain. Something like back in Muthu Pandi and Saravana Velu in Gilli, right? And there's also lots of portions also shot in Madurai, according to the film there. So you think I think when Mr. Vijay spoke in the audio launch in Malaysia, and he did say that this could be some kind of a renewal of that what has happened in Gilli there. You think that's how the Prakash Raj's role in the film was?
Actually, one of the things I liked about the film is obviously the Prakash Raj characterization. It had a few H. Vinod touch, H. Vinod actually goes after the satirical, political satire and all that. So you could see H. Vinod only there. Other than that, you couldn't see H. Vinod anywhere else. And of course, Prakash Raj is like pretty much stealing the show. But if you can't say the same thing about Bobby Deol's role, whenever he comes on stage, it looks like we are watching a dubbed film. So that was the problem. But yeah, Bobby Deol was supposed to be that Himmler. He's called Himmler, right? He's like supposed to be a stand-in for Hitler. So yeah, you know what that is actually hitting out on what Prakash Raj character is actually hitting out on. He is wearing a vesti and he's like a Tamil politician, and that guy is like called as Himmler. So you pretty much know what it's about. So, but particularly about Bobby Deol, I think I'm kind of like disappointed with how it turned out to be. The problem is everybody in the film looks like a cardboard cutout. So, like from 80s villains and 90s villains, you kill someone and you are like laughing like your PS Veerappa Mari, they laugh. So, I don't know why that kind of caricaturous stuff shouldn't have been there in a film of H. Vinod. That's what I felt.
There's also a lot of cliche there, for example, which is something that we've been seeing in a lot of Tamil films. A lot of them have been very critical about this as well. Again, yet another way the lead actor, which is Pooja Hegde, doesn't really have much of a role to play. Again, once again, obviously Mamita Baiju still seems to be with Vijay throughout the role, but the lead actor is obviously it's going to be Pooja Hegde. What do you think about that?
I think Pooja, like it's very like cliche, to be honest, because in many a times in Vijay's films, especially nowadays, which is like after 2015 maybe, the lead actress does not really have anything to do with the film. She's just there. She's just there for the glamour. She's just there for the the eyes on her, because when she's shown on screen, people just like, ooh, wow, that's it. And then there's not much role. So I think people are pretty used to it right now, which really has to change, because when you compare it with other films, like other global films or cinema, which is worthy of cinema in that aspect, where the story is more highlighted, there's definitely a difference. Like it's just the same. There's nothing much different.
Anything about the film will be defended as it's a fan service, right? At the end of the day, that's what this film is about, and also it's a swan song. And Vijay is not like how do I put it? He's not like he's a commercial hero. He's a commercial superstar. So any kind of criticism against the film is going to be defended from that point of view. But what I'm saying that even in that account, like this film could have done a lot more.
That's right, Kiruba. I think, but again, talking about the certification there, it's A certified. Vijay is, you spoke about the fans, the larger fan base is also the tiny tots, who are just below the age of 18, right? They won't be able to watch the film now. So, you think that's going to have some kind of impact on the box office?
See, in terms of box office, it doesn't matter anymore. That's what I think. But even then, at the end of the day, it's a multi-crore project. So of course there is business around it. But in terms of box office, of course people are going to watch. I mean, all the fans here who came and watched the film, the reaction. They are going to come again, because they don't want to miss the chance of watching Vijay again and again, right? There will be releases of his films and all that, but it's not like a swan song. So of course, box office will be taken care of, and there have been films earlier, even Rajinikanth's film have come out with A certificates, but that hasn't done much to the box office failure or success. At the end of the day, it will be watched, and even if it is going to keep away a lot of audience, even if it's going to keep away a lot of audience away from the theaters, it still will be a hit.
No, I think it would be wrong to not just talk about the background score, the music here. Anirudh, I think, has done an incredible job. It's more than it's an absolute feast for the fans here. So, what do you think about that?
Anirudh always saves a film. If not for Anirudh, this film will be much lesser than what it is right now. So the Ravana Mavanda, that song, despite being used redundantly in the film, still whenever it comes there, you kind of have that kind of a goosebump effect. So Anirudh kind of like saved a lot of this film. That's
And of course, Talabadi Kacheri is also there, which is like a celebratory part of the film. And as he mentioned, Ravana Mavanda, that also adds like a kind of like a sleek, slender vibes into the film, so which makes Vijay look like the star he always is. So I think that really caters to the fans, like especially you guys, because for you, Vijay's career has been woven into your guys' growing up age. So how do you guys actually feel about his last film and everything?
So I would have preferred. See, I'm a big fan of commercial films. I like Jailer. I like Teri. Teri is one of my favorite Vijay films. I wanted something of that sort. But if it had been, like for example, if it had been a swan song of actor Vijay, this is not a film that would have turned out. It is the swan song of Vijay, who's going to also become a politician. So this is how it's going to be.
Who already became the chief minister?
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm talking from retrospective. So, okay, Vijay, I want to ask you. You are the fan here. So, what is your thoughts on this film?
No, I mean, as I already said, this is for Vijay. I think, I think, Kirba, I think you're waiting to do a review. You said, I in fact had a headline in mind. I think maybe what is your headline is, this is something of my own perspective there. I think, the movie, Vijay fans love the movie, and that's what mattered to Vijay. So I think that's how it should be. So because it isn't general for the generic audience, right? It's all for the fans, and obviously the fans is going to be a humongous set of people. I just called up my mother, and I told her, the film is kind of okay. I don't think Dad will love it, but what she said told me it's his last film. We certainly have to watch it in theaters. I think that's the mood of the people of Tamil Nadu there. A lot of people generally would be visiting theaters and they'll be watching it. Before we wrap this up, a quick closing comments from both of you.
Like I said in the beginning, as a film, it's not as entertaining as I would want it to be. But as a swan song, as something you're going to watch Vijay for the last time, I think it is good. I mean, it pretty much does the job.
How do you rate the film on a scale of 10?
I think I would rate somewhere around 5.
Okay, that's just average. Okay. What about you?
Yeah, so for example, like the first half of the film was great. Obviously, it was fun, but then the second half kind of did slow back down. So my overall rating would be a 3 on 10.
Yeah, high standards. Okay. Any which way. So, but I think I would rather rate it at 7, because I'm obviously a Vijay fan. So I could be biased there. So obviously biased there. So thank you very much for watching this, and stay tuned for the comprehensive Federal review, which will be up on our platform in the next couple of hours. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.